Money is the key to pretty much everything in Hypixel Skyblock. Whether it's buying better armor sets, buying better pets, buying better weapons, or maybe even just increasing your Skyblock level, money is required for pretty much everything that you're going to do in the game. I recently started a new flipping series, Dirt to Enrager, and it kind of just reminds me how really easy it is to make some money. Something that I think a lot of players don't really realise. So today we're going to be taking a look at some really easy money making methods that you can do to make some coins. And when I say coins, I mean a lot of coins. So the first thing we're going to look at involves the Bizar. I'm sure you know there's been new gemstones released. This method, I'm using gemstones as an example, but you can also do it to craft other things as well. It works just as well. With these gemstones, what we're going to be taking a look at is, we'll take for instance the peridot gemstone. Okay, the peridot gemstone is the gemstone that gives you farming fortune. Anyway, if you were to put a buy order in for the most amount of peridot gemstones you possibly can, which would be 71,680. From these 71,680 flawed gemstones, you can actually craft these down into 11 flawless gemstones. And I think you're left with maybe like 15 or 16 fine gemstones. The flawed gemstones would sell with a buy offer for 76 million coins, and the leftover fine for 1.1 million coins. Meaning that you've made close to 78 mil, but only spent 58 mil, so that's 20 mil profit. I'll show you how it works. I don't really have that many, the orders haven't filled, I've just kind of left it for a while and we've quite obviously been undercut. But we'll collect all these gemstones, we'll cancel this order, and if you type in recipe peridot, and we're going to have to combine them all to fine first, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we have all fines. They'll instantly go into your sack if you have one. Because of the volume, we don't have enough to craft it into a flawless, but it's still profit just crafting it into fine. As you can see, we would make a little bit of profit selling them as fine, but it's just because of the volume. If we had more, if we would have waited it out, then we would have weighed way more, and you make more profit crafting them into flawless, and they do sell relatively quick, because I actually did this yesterday, and the offers fill really quick. I don't know, it's nothing too complicated, and this has been around for a while, considering there's been gemstones on the Bizar for ages. What I will say is there is a collection required. You'll need 5k gemstone collection to craft into fines, and ultimately to make more money you're probably going to need 500k gemstone collection. Honestly, I've not really mined a lot of gemstones at all, so it really doesn't take too long to get this collection. It's nothing crazy, but it is really low effort. Before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry make some coins, make sure to join. The next thing we're going to talk about takes us to the Dwarven Mines, so the hot spot for pretty much everyone at the moment. Specifically over to the Forge. The Forge has been in the game since the Dwarven Mine release over 2 years ago. And yeah, you can make a lot of money from the Forge, and you always have been able to, and now is best than ever to go ahead and forge some items pretty much on repeat so you can passively make money. If you're not familiar with the Forge, certain items in the game are only craftable by forging them, not just a regular craft. To forge something, you'll need a certain amount of maybe the same item, different items, it depends on the recipe. You'll need to then put these items into the forge, and then you'll have to wait a certain amount of time, depending on the item that you want to forge, until it actually comes out. You can collect it and sell it on. Obviously, because of the new mining update, there's a ton of new items that you can forge that make you a lot of money. The reason being is because, first of all, you need to actually unlock these. Admittedly, I haven't done any mining myself yet since the update dropped. That's why you can't see anything. But a lot of the new items you can see are in tungsten and umber collection. They'll be the refined umber and tungsten, and the tungsten plates and the umber plates. Some items require you just to travel to the base camp. Once again, glaciite collection, umber collection, tungsten collection. Players were making hundreds of millions of coins passively when the update first came out. It's settled down a little bit now, however it's still ridiculously good. Let's just take a look at this, for example here. A refined diamond you can sell on the Bizar for 962,000 coins. It requires you to craft with 2 enchanted diamond blocks. Those 2 diamond blocks will cost around about 425k to insta-buy from the Bizar. The reason why there's so much profit in this is because, of course, when you forge something, you have to leave it in the forge for a certain amount of time until it forges. It's not like crafting where it's done instantaneously. However, even for something like a refined diamond that's been out for so long, the profit is still over 100%. You can even forge some of the new pets. For instance, a T-Rex pet at the moment is selling for 45 million coins. Granted, over time it will reduce in pricing. Yesterday they were actually up at 200 mil because, of course, these items take time to forge, and only some of the first ones were actually able to be put on the market yesterday or the day before. But as you can see right down at the bottom underneath lowest bin of 45 mil, the raw craft cost for the T-Rex pet is 2.7 million coins, and people are selling them on for that much more. The reason being there is you have to wait 7 days for the T-Rex pet to actually forge, or if you have the upgrade, the forge upgrade maxed, I think it goes down to 4.4 or 4.6 days or something like that. Even so, you're still waiting over 4 days at minimum. But if you have 5 going at once, a ton of profit. It really is. The forge is cracked, and it's cracked at the moment, and it was even more cracked in the past week or so, and it's always been good, considering you don't have to do anything other than wait. Okay, next up, we're heading to the auction house. Now, as I'm sure we all know, armor sets like Crimson, Aurora, Terror, Hollow, and Fervor all have attribute rolls on them. These Crimson Isle armor sets can make you a lot of money. For instance, if you have a God roll piece of Crimson, which at this moment in time is Magic Find Veteran. For instance, if you actually had this chestplate right here, an 8/8 Magic Find Veteran Crimson chestplate, and you wanted to, for instance, I don't know, upgrade this. Now, to upgrade this chestplate, you don't actually need to combine it with other Crimson pieces. You can combine it with Aurora pieces, Terror pieces, Fervor, and also Hollow pieces. But some people either don't realise that, or just tend to look for Crimson pieces to upgrade the Crimson pieces with for whatever reason. Meaning that Veteran and Magic Find Crimson pieces always end up being more expensive than Veteran and Magic Find Aurora or Terror pieces, even though they will serve the same purpose in upgrading another piece of armor. The same goes for Mana Pool on Aurora pieces, and strangely enough, Dominance on Terror and Crimson pieces. For instance, yesterday I found a Dominance 7 Fervor chestplate for 12 million coins, which is on the cheap side anyway. I basically bought the cheapest Dominance Crimson chestplate I could possibly find, which was like 1 million coins, and then put the Dominance 7 attribute onto the Crimson chestplate, meaning that I had a Dominance 7 Crimson chestplate. I resold that for 30 million coins, and it sold overnight. The way that attributes scale on pieces of armor too in terms of the price sometimes is not logical. Now, something that really helps is actually on Discord. Now, Kudragang is a Discord server, and they have a bot, which is really, really useful. If we just go /attribute price, and then we can select any attribute that we want. We'll go for Dominance. And then if you wanted another specific attribute, you could also add another one, but we're just going to go for Dominance. Okay, that's going to bring us this menu up here, which is going to show us the cheapest pieces of armor for Dominance 1 through to 9. It will show 10 if there are any 10 listed on the market. This is really useful, especially for when you're flipping, because if there's, for instance, a really, really good deal on a Dominance 7 piece, like I saw yesterday for 12 mil, of course you can sell it on for more and just simply buy it up. What's good is it also shows you a little icon, and it obviously tells you which piece of armor you're actually looking for, so you can quickly search the market for that piece of armor with the attribute and find it straight away. We do have that bot in my server, however it is Kudragang's bot, so I'll leave a link in the description to their Discord server if you want to join and check it out. I would recommend it because it is really quite helpful, especially when you're flipping those pieces. There is absolutely no setup other than the coins that you actually need to buy the item, and no requirement as well. Now, if you've watched my Dirt to Enrager series, or, well, the first video that I uploaded, you'll be very, very familiar with this next money making method, because it's pretty much majority of what I did to get to where I'm up to at the moment. And that is flipping magma rods. It may seem really boring and uninspiring at first, and it is relatively boring, but it makes so many coins. It's ridiculous. Let me explain. The magma rod is basically the first lava rod that you can use to actually fish with. You can upgrade this magma rod into an inferno rod and then into a hellfire rod, which is the best lava fishing rod. The attributes actually stay with the rod if you upgrade it, which is really good, especially for higher end flips. There's two types of lava fishing, which are trophy fishing and then just regular fishing for sea creatures. Just like pieces of armor, fishing rods also have god rolls. The god roll for a magma rod or any sort of lava rod where you're actually fishing for sea creatures is double hook and fishing speed. Double hook gives you an increased chance to catch 2 sea creatures at once. Fishing speed simply granting you fishing speed. For trophy fishing, something like fishing speed and trophy hunter would make sense as well, as trophy hunter increases the chance to catch trophy fish by 2%, and of course once you upgrade that attribute, it will go even higher. We're going to disregard trophy hunter for now because the double hook fishing speed is way more demanded. Now, you can craft these fishing rods. You craft these magma rods by buying or obtaining 10 silver magma fish and crafting them with sticks. At the moment, each silver magma fish, if you put an order up, is 28.5k, meaning that each fishing rod costs you around about 285,000 coins to craft. That fishing rod will then, of course, have a pretty equal chance of rolling anything on it out of the attributes, which will be Fisherman, Infection, Trophy Hunter, Double Hook, and Fishing Speed. When crafting these magma rods, you can have it so all of the silverfish that you need to craft things go straight into your sack, so you can just pull them straight from your sack in the recipe menu, and the same with the sticks. You can put them in a backpack and they'll be pulled straight from the backpack. You'll just go over to the magma rod and you can just basically spam this button here, which will spam craft a full inventory for you. There's a couple of different ways you can sell these rods, one of them being simply as they are when they come into your inventory, and another one is crafting them into higher attribute god roll magma rods, which is more profitable in the long run, especially when you're crafting these rods in bulk. I will mention that it is down to an element of RNG, because the rods that you actually get is down to RNG. The rolls that you get are not guaranteed, and it is just straight up luck. However, I've done this quite a lot now, and I've discovered that I've never lost money from it, I've never broke even, and I've always profited at least 20 to 30%, sometimes up to 60 to 70, depending on how lucky you get. I'll usually put a buy order up on the Bizar, wait for it to fill, and then I'll come over to this station that I've set up here. You can do it different ways, but this is how I do it. I have a double chest up here, and this is for any rods that are useless to me, which are usually the Infection, Fisherman or Trophy Hunter rods that don't have double hook or fishing speed on. This chest up here will be all of the god roll rods that I will use as the base rod to upgrade. The middle chest will have all of my fishing speed rods in, and the bottom chest will be all of the double hooks. I'll basically just craft until I have a full double chest of double hook, fishing speed, and then however many of the god rolls that I get. When I'm going to run out, I'll go ahead and take all of these useless rods that realistically aren't going to sell for too much, and I'll put them all into my inventory, go over to the dungeon hub and salvage them all. Now when you salvage a rod, you'll end up getting 5 magma fish back, which is half of what you initially crafted it with. And it's a case of just repeating that over and over again. I got to a point where I think I ended up putting a buy order for 13,000 magma fish in, which of course is going to craft you a ton of fishing rods. And when you're making at least 20%, up to maybe 60%, depending on your luck, then this can make you a lot of money. I found that it's best to upgrade your rods to double hook 5, fishing speed 5. They sell for between 14 to 16, 17 million. I found that 14.5 million is probably the sweet spot to sell them at, whereby you're still making a lot of money, but, you know, not waiting too long for them to sell. Now, what you can also do is upgrade these even further. You can even upgrade them into 1010 rods. These 1010 rods sell for somewhere between 430 to 470 million coins, depending on who the mayor is and I guess just the time of day. I did do this. I ended up selling mine for 430 mil because they were cheaper when I sold them. I think I paid around about 320 to 330 mil for all the rods, meaning that I profited just over 100 mil. If I was to sell them right now, it would be close to 150 mil profit. It does take a little bit of time. It does get a little bit boring, but there's a lot of profit at stake. Now, there is a collection that you need. Of course, you need to craft the magma rods. That's the only collection you need. That collection is Magma Fish 4, which is 1,000 magma fish fished. That's not going to take you a lot of time. Just the case of a good 10 minutes maybe of lava fishing, maybe slightly less, slightly longer depending on your gear. But yeah, it won't take long to get at all. If you want to see an actual proper example of this method working actually in-game, and you can just see how much profit I make, then I'll leave a link to the Dirt to Enrager series in the description. Might be interesting to look at. Well, there you have 4 very good money-making methods at the moment. And I say 4, there's 4 kind of ideas. They could be turned into a lot more money-making methods just from differentiating the items and so on. Hope at least one of these methods can help you make some money in the game. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.